Welcome to part 3 on the 2001 Honda CR125. If you guys missed the last two videos, let me quick catch you up. So we bought this bike for $1,000 a couple weeks ago. The seller on Facebook stated that he put a new crank in it, new piston, new gasket, new seals, new plastics, new seat cover, new suspension, new front tire. He put a ton of parts into it and he could not get it to fire up. So I brought it back home, started diagnosing it, and found it had low compression. I think it was 60 psi. So we tore apart the top end and found that the piston ring was very deformed. I'm thinking the seller, when putting on the cylinder, maybe bent a ring so it wasn't sealing to that cylinder, causing low compression. We tore into the engine further and found that a little piece of gasket was missing between the engine cases and the cylinder, causing it to have a massive air leak. So we actually tore it all down, and last video we rebuilt it with all new seals, all new gaskets, and put everything back together, and we were actually able to hear this thing start up for the first time since owning it. So that's kind of where we left it last video. We were able to hear it run. It ran pretty good, but we weren't able to take it for the first ride, so I have no idea if it's going to shift okay or not. So we were missing a few essential parts for this bike last video that we're going to add today. It needs new sprockets, new chain, new fork saver guards, new clamps for the brake line. The brake needs to be bled because we put a new caliper on there. The pipe and silencer need to be replaced. The silencer on it right now is wrong for the bike. You can see it's just clamped down, so it's really janky. We just put that on there last video temporarily. And then the pipe is all dented in and welded up, looking really crappy. And then the cooling lines were actually hitting the pipe last video as well. So we got all new cooling lines for it. And then the seat cover is really bubbly. I think the previous owner just quick put that on. And then I want to install an hour meter as well. So a couple parts to add to this thing before we can take it for the first ride. So that's what we're going to do today, and we're going to see how this thing runs today. It should be very interesting. We might have to rejet it because we got a brand new pipe for it, but we'll deal with that once we take this thing for the first ride. So let's get going. We have a lot of work to do today. All right, here are the new parts. We've got the new fork savers. We've got gasket for the pipe, a little one for the power valves we were missing, new cooling lines, new sprockets, new chain. Here's the hour meter, and then we've got a brand new pipe. Let me quick show you guys how much that was. Does it have the amount on there? New, but it is an FMF fatty pipe for a CR125 for 2001. And we've got the Power Core 2 Shorty silencer. I think it came to $500 in total. It physically pained me to spend this much on a pipe. I tried to look for used ones in good condition. There was nothing out there. They're about the same price as new ones. So I'm like, well, we may as well bite the bullet and buy a brand new pipe for it. Everything else is brand new on the bike, so may as well match it with a brand new pipe. Take a peek. All right, here's the silencer. Brand new. I don't think I've ever bought a brand new pipe before, so this is a first for me. Brand spanking new. Looks pretty nice. Take that sticker off before it melts to it. Everything else I think can be left on it. So there's the silencer. We'll install that later. Let's take a look at the pipe. Brand new pipe. Is it supposed to have that dent in there like that? Hopefully. Brand new. That is going to look sweet mounted up. So brand new pipe and silencer, $500. So let's start adding all the parts to it. All right, let's get some of these plastics off, the seat off. So later in the video, we're gonna fix that seat cover with a heat gun and get that stretched out better. You can see the silencer wasn't able to mount anywhere on the bike. It's obviously the wrong pipe for it. So we're gonna take that back off and replace that. Old silencer coming off. Pull those off. Oh. There we go. There we go. So the first thing we're gonna do is put the seal in right here that we're missing for the power valves. There's actually a little rubber grommet I'll show you guys here in a second that we were missing. A couple people pointed out last video. Just quick take that off. Cover coming off here. Take a guess how much that little piece of rubber was. OEM Honda. It's like 25 bucks for that. These things are really expensive. Alright, now this piece goes on top of that. Sits in there just like that. That's a lot better. That looks good. All right, one part replaced. Now let's sealing that off. Next, we're going to replace the cooling line here. You can see it's kind of bent weird up there. And I think it wasn't turning in as much. We had to kind of modify that last video. So we got all new cooling lines we can put on here. This one was touching and that one was. So let's see if the package of new lines fits a little bit better. This coolant drain. Now if you open the cap up here, it'll come out really fast. There we go. It's brand new coolant we put in last video, so we'll save it. And we put all new water pump seals in last video as well. So we shouldn't have any leaking whatsoever. We'll check the oil after the first ride to see if anything's milky, but everything looked great with the water pump, the impeller, and the seals. The new ones work a little bit better. These were included with the bike. Here are the new lines here. Let's see if we've got the correct ones. I think this is going to be the correct one here. Yeah, see that one bends correctly like that. So I think we just have to cut that a little bit off. This one can go like that. It goes right to there. Actually, that might work just like that. I think that's good. I'll have to see if that hits the pipe. Because it was hitting right here. So I think the bend wasn't sharp enough for right there. Let's just see how that fits up there. I think it goes like that. Alright, just like that. Let's see if that hits the pipe when we install it. We'll temporarily leave those on there for now. Alright, we got the pipe fitted up here. So the coolant line here no longer touches the pipe. That looks really good. But the one here still does. You can still see it touching the pipe up there. So I don't know what you do about that. I might try to cut off a little bit of it on the side there and try to push it in further. But yeah, the pipe is all the way this way and it's still touching that pipe. So that can boil that coolant and it'll burn through that line. So that's no good. We're gonna have to try to fix that. Take the pipe back off, see if we can somehow fix that up. I wonder if I take a little bit off of this line, if that'll push it further in. I'm just gonna take a little bit off of this. Just to see if that goes further in now. Alright, let's try that. Let's see if that fixes our problem. Alright, pipe is back on. And as you can see, I don't know if you guys can see up there, the hose is no longer touching the pipe. There's a little gap in there. So I think we're going to be good to go. We can clamp those hoses down there. And yeah, we should be good there. Alright, we got the new exhaust gasket on there. Let's get the silencer on. Right like that. So that's kind of the look of the pipe on there. Looks really nice. Alright, the hole right here was stripped out, so we're retapping that to a bigger size. We have to go one. That should work. Alright, pipe is all secured, looking good. And I'm looking at the line back here. Hopefully you guys can see that. The pipe is no longer hitting that line. You can see right through there. There's about 4 millimeters of gap. And coming over here, plenty of space there as well. So we fixed that problem with the new pipe, and the new lines. So let's get the coolant back in. Hopefully we don't have any leaks. Nothing yet. Let's go ahead and get this rear wheel off so we can get the new sprocket on. Holy, keep that torqued on. All right, there's the old one. Let's install the new sprocket. Greased up the axle. All right, front sprocket going on, 13 tooth, go on just like this. Put it in gear, I can tighten that down. Go. we've got a Tusk chain. See, it's all greased up. Put a lot of grease on that right away. Holy cow. This goes through here. That guy out. Come on, Joe, open up a bag. Get that through. I don't think I've ever seen a manufacturer grease up a chain that much. I mean, it's nice, but it's a lot. So you want to put that clip with the end that way because it rotates the bike this way. So if it were to hit a stick or something, it wouldn't pop off that clip. Go. Now we can tension the chain next. All right, I usually like to get a couple fingers between the chain and the swing arm here. We've got 2 fingers between there. That feels pretty good. So this was already tensioned correctly. Chain is smooth. We're just gonna tighten up that nut on the rear axle. We should be good. All right, then we wanna make sure that the rear brake is working. So spin the wheel. That's working. Everything's in place. All right, that's working good. So rear brake works, chain's on, everything's good to go. All right, coming to the front brake area, we're missing the little holder for the brake line. Let's get that added. It's red. So this is going to go just like that. So we can get this on first. All right, next is the fork guard, or fork saver, whatever you want to call it. This can go on like that. All right, then we have the piece for the brake here. This is going to go on like that. So, washer. All right, let's see if there's any brake fluid in here. It looks to be empty. There's a little window back here. Doesn't look like there's a whole lot. It's pretty dark in there. There's not a whole lot in there. But there's some. You can see a little bit in there. Let's go down below, open up that bleed screw and see if we can bleed it. No, brake fluid should squirt out of there when we push it. The brake. You can see it's coming out. Tighten that back up a little bit. I just filled it up with brake fluid. I'm going to pump the brakes a couple times and see if it bleeds here. Crack this back open. You can see bubbles coming out. We're pumping it. Tighten that back up. Coming up here, you can see now it doesn't pull all the way back to the grip. So that brake is working good. All right, let's take off the tank so we can mount the hour meter. So we've got one end of the spark plug wire here. This is going to go on the meter and then on the coil wire. This is included with the kit. We've got the wire, we're going to wrap it around 4 times around the coil. Right here. Two, 3, 4. gonna zip tie that wire. So there's 4 coils there, zip tied down. Pivot right here. So you can go through the back right here, and you loop it through in the front, just like that. You pull that. I'm going to mount that right there. This is going to go right onto these guys. Alright, that looks pretty good. Right now it says 0. Alright, that's installed. We'll see if that works. All right, let's fix this seat cover. You can see all the wrinkles in it. We're gonna stretch that tighter, try to get that a little bit better. Heat it up with a heat gun. Get the material nice and hot so we can stretch it. So I think we can start with the front. I don't know if that's stretched all the way. I might have to take out some of these staples. Ouch. A lot of these staples aren't even in here. All right, that's as best as I could get the seat. There's still a couple little wrinkles in there, but not as bad as it was before. That material is really hard to stretch. So let's get that installed. All right, she's finally complete. All put back together with the new pipe. Got the hour meter on there, new grips. Seat cover's looking a little bit better. All the plastics are on there. Yeah, she's looking pretty darn good now. So let's go ahead and fire this thing up. Do a little brake and start. And then we'll attempt to take this thing for the first ride. Hopefully it moves here. Wouldn't that suck? What if the transmission was bad? It looked good putting it in, but you never know. So let's go ahead and get this thing fired up, and then we'll go ahead and rip it for the first time. All right, let's see how many kicks it takes today. Choke it. Gas on. Go. Sounds pretty good. Well, running pretty darn good. Let's go see if it moves here. Alright, got the bike loaded up. We're gonna bring the jet kit along. Got a bunch of jets we can try out if it doesn't run correctly, but so far it seems pretty decent in first and second gear. We'll see when we really string it out. Huh, I think the throttle cable broke. Alright, now I know why the seller included a throttle cable in the parts container. So we were riding this thing, all of a sudden it revved up to the moon, and then I went to twist the throttle, and there's nothing there. So I'm guessing that throttle cable broke in there, unfortunately. We just got out here to test drive. Oh, that sucks. Let's open that up and see what's going on. What? Alright. So obviously it must have broken down by the carb. We can get that carb out, or at least twist it, and try to get that throttle out of there. I'm guessing, oh yeah. Oh, it just pulled out. Well, what the heck? Oh, that's good, it didn't break. How would it pull out of the carb though? That's weird. Alright, let's quick fix that. Alright, throttle cable's working again. I don't know what the heck happened. It's really tight in there now. I wonder if the little spring stopper that was in the carb, where it positions itself over the wire, came out. I don't know. This thing is pretty peppy. Holy cow. It is snappy. Very responsive. Really good low end power, which usually these don't have that. So I'm really surprised. Full throttle, it just breaks up a tiny bit. I think you guys can hear it in the video. But we're running a 380 main right now. And with the Gold Series fatty pipe and silencer, you want to run a 370 or 360 is what they recommend. So I think we're actually rich on the main jet, believe it or not. So I brought a 370 along to try out. So let's put that in and see if that gets rid of that like slight bogginess on the top end. But I think lower end is good. It's really responsive down low. So quarter throttle to 3/4 throttle, I mean, it's perfect. Doesn't break up at all. It's just a very tippy top. When you're full throttle, you can hear it just has that rich bog to it. Carb to the side. Just twist it this way and hopefully get to that bowl. I don't know, we might not be able to, we'll see. Just loosen everything up, take the gas line off. I know for sure we can spin it the other way. Can we spin it this way? You just have to get right to here. It's gonna drain all the gas out. That should give us access to that main jet. Cool. Alright, there it is. Our 6mm. Just gonna twist that out of there. So let's see, confirm it's a 380. Yep. You guys can see that, 380. Alright, now we've got 370 going in. I'm surprised I had a 370 in the pile, but there it is, 370. Alright. $370's in. At least we don't have to take the carb out to try it. That would be a lot of work. Alright. Now we can just tip the carb back. Down. And we'll find out if that main jet, lowering it, fixes our problem. It's really weird you have to lower the main jet with that pipe. You would think you'd have to raise the main jet. But nope. Guess it wants you to lower it. lot better. Well, changing out that main jet from a 380 to a 370 seemed to help a lot. I mean, it's not breaking up at all top end anymore. So when you gun it full throttle, you can watch in the GoPro footage, it actually revs out all the way and stays consistent throughout. So we actually gained a little bit more speed, I believe, on the top end. And it's a lot crispier sounding. Sometimes the camera really can't pick it up, but yeah, it's sounding pretty darn good. FMF recommends you run a 370 with this or a 360. I think a 360 would be too lean. They also recommend that you should change the needle clip position to the second notch. Right now we're at the third notch, so we're right in the middle. And they recommend doing the second notch. That would actually make it leaner as well, which I don't really think I want to go leaner with it. So we're going to leave that clip position at the 3 mark and keep it there. I mean, it sounds pretty darn good. What do you guys think? Does it sound pretty darn good? We're going to check the plug and see if that's brown or if it's black. If it's black, it's probably running a little bit rich, but I'd rather have it run rich than lean. And this was a brand new plug we put in, so it should tell us what's going on. I think it's going to be pretty much spot on. Should have brought a different wrench with. Oh well, that worked. What do you guys think? It's gonna be brown or black? There we go. Oh yeah. That looks pretty good. Look at that. Just dark brown. It's not super black. Yeah, it's like a chocolatey color in some spots. Yeah, we're gonna leave the jetting like that. I don't want to go any leaner than that. I think she's good. So yeah, just a really dark brown color on the plug. She's good to go. Also looks like the hour meter is working. We've got 0.2 hours on it. So that's good. I'm glad that's working. And then checking out the rest of the bike, I don't see any sludge coming out of the back here. Just a slight amount right there, but nothing on the swing arm. That's looking good, so it's burning off all that fuel there. So not a single speck on the swing arm. Pipe's looking really clean. No sludge at the pipe. Nothing coming out of the engine. Everything's tight. So this one is good to go. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. This thing looks awesome. Alright, just got back from the first ride, and that probably could not have gone better. Thing is running perfectly. Not a single issue. All the brakes work, suspension feels good, starts right up first kick every time. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. This thing has come a long way. So when we first picked this bike up, it had 60 psi. Let's see what the compression is at now that it's all rebuilt and running perfect. Alright, get that spark plug out of there again. Get the gauge in there, kick it over a couple times, see what happens. Alright, I think we can go through this way, hopefully. Let's see. I think we got her. Alright, hook our gauge up. Alright, what do you guys think we're gonna get? Alright, we're gonna do throttle open. Let's see what happens here. Hopefully it's more than 60. That's what we started with. Where are we at? A couple more kicks here. Perfect. 163 PSI. Wow, so 100 more PSI than what we had before. Well, that's why we have so much low end. That's really good compression. So, awesome. That checks out. All right, let's go ahead and check the oil color. Make sure it's not milky. If I can get my zip tie to go down, there we go. Perfect. Looks nice and clear, so. Seals are holding up. Oil isn't milky. So far, everything's checking out. All right, let's test out some polish here. I want to see if this aluminum frame shines up here. A subscriber sent me this stuff. Mother's Maggot aluminum polish. And they said it works pretty well. So just gonna dab that on. And just see. Supposedly it gives it like a mirror finish. Oh, that's working. Huh. That is looking pretty good. Oh yeah. That's looking really good. I think that's a different type of aluminum. What about the subframe? Oh yeah, that one's polishing up. Huh. That's pretty cool. A little bit goes a long way. That looks pretty good. Check that out. Oh yeah. That's pretty cool looking. Sharp looking bike. Everything's all polished up now. Well, that's the final product. This thing has come a long, long way. Turned out great. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video on the 2001 Honda CR125. Picking this thing up for $1,000, diagnosing the no start issue, building it back up, doing the first start, and then the first ride today. It was definitely a process to get to this point, but worth it in the end. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Stay tuned for next video, and until next time, we are out.